Bonjour, dickheads. Welcome to the new studio. Welcome to the new podcast, which is called Fuck the Wall. Officially, that is the name of the new podcast, Fuck the Wall, FTW for short, if you want. And it's going to be my new podcast. It is going to be weekly. It's going to be every Monday, 9 p.m. French time. And I'm going to be here in the studio, in my house, doing the podcast for you guys. Or if I'm not here, if I'm on tour, I will bring my camera with me and do a podcast while I'm on tour. So let me tell Fuck the Wall. What is the podcast? First of all, the name, Fuck the Wall. Some of you know why it's called Fuck the Wall. I've shared the story before. Some of you don't know why it's called Fuck the Wall, FTW. The story basically, I was thinking about doing a podcast again because I miss you guys. I miss you so much since the original days of Happy Hour Live, when I used to do this in my house or in my apartment during COVID, when we would just chat every day. I miss the me and you interaction. And so Happy Hour Live, as it was called back then, was me on my own. Then it turned into a thing with guests for a couple of years where I would interview a friend or somebody that I didn't know in the studio that I had previously. And it became like an interview show. And I want to keep Happy Hour Live the name for the kind of interview format, which I might bring back at some point in time. But I wanted to do this again, just the me and you thing, and have it called something different. So I was thinking about names, and then something happened that I was like, this is a perfect name for this podcast, right? So one time, I finished my show, my current show, Bisous Bye, on stage, and I came backstage, and my manager, best friend, Adam Crosby, who is very Scottish, was stood backstage, and the show went so well for me on stage. I came back, and he was looking at me, and he just went, "Mate, that was so good, I could fuck the wall." And he said this while literally air fucking the wall backstage. And the expression kind of stuck, fuck the wall. Break a Leg has now become fuck the wall. He now sends me messages saying fuck the wall. FTW, basically. And if you're young and of the internet fucking crew, then FTW actually means for the win. Like when something's good, like you could say Paul Taylor, FTW, for the win. It's kind of a fun fuck the wall, FTW. We just went with it. So it's now called Fuck the Wall. It's also, if you reverse FTW, WTF is what the fuck, and it's kind of an homage to the original series that kind of blew up for me on YouTube called What the Fuck France. So WTF, FTW. Why else did I decide it was a good idea? I've got some notes because I wanted to make sure that I explained the podcast properly. Of course, because I'm kind of fed up of like all of the people, like normal people and the people in the public eye, like putting up these walls on social media with their perfect fucking lives, supporting the perfect causes, with their perfect wives, their perfect children. Fucking everything's amazing. It's like, oh, look at me, I'm a fucking perfect human being. And I just want to be like, fuck you, your life is not that good. And I figured, fuck them, fuck the wall that they're putting up. I'm going to break the walls down, and you won't see any of the fake shit from me on this podcast. It's a genuine podcast where I take you through the highs and lows of being a comedian based in Paris, but speaking English with a bit of French, going now on an international tour. And I wanted to take you behind the scenes, just tell you what's going on with the shows, how they're going, talk about upcoming shows. You get to ask some questions about life as a comedian, and we get to answer them. Also, it matched perfectly the name Fuck the Wall, because I actually genuinely fucked up this wall while building this studio. Those of you who are just listening to the podcast, you'll have to just go on my social media to see the background, because this podcast is not only on YouTube, it is available after the live on any podcasting app. But behind me are two walls that aren't exactly the same shape. The room isn't. I'm in a room that's at the end of my garden, basically. My wife and I and my child, we just moved house, which is over there, and I'm at the end of the garden in this little shed that we had to remake. And I fucked up this wall here because initially the boxes that you see that are hanging, floating above the wall from IKEA that I could put all of my little souvenirs that I've gathered over the years, I initially set them up on this wall, which means I had to like drill holes in all of the wall here, set up the boxes. And what I realized is because the angle of this wall is fucked, you couldn't see anything inside the boxes because there were too much sticking out at an angle. So what I had to do was take them all off this wall and then drill some holes in that wall. This took about 2 days. The problem is, while I was taking off some of the boxes from that wall, actually it wasn't even me, it was my manager Adam, fucking Scottish brute, fucking bastard, and he ripped like 2 holes in the wall that I had to fill up again. That you can't, I mean, so now the screws, you can see one screw just there, and there's a couple of screws, but I've covered the screws up with posters and photos and things that I've gathered across. That wasn't even the plan originally. So I fucked the wall, literally in my studio. So that is why it's called Fuck the Wall, FTW. I will probably put it as FTW for a while because social media, the algorithms, they don't like people saying fuck. So FTW, Fuck the Wall. So now you know why it's called Fuck the Wall. And if you're wondering what you can expect from the show every Monday at 9 p.m, as I said, I'll be talking about the behind the scenes of me being a comedian, the tour that I have just done, the tour coming up, things that make me angry. I'm genuinely angry, and every week I'm just going to let loose and go on a tantrum. I think I'm going to call it Taylor's Tantrum, about something that's fucking pissing me off, just to get it out, because I need to get some stuff out. Obviously, because it's live, I see you guys, so you can I'll fucking answer. You'll be able to ask questions, and I will answer those questions for you. I can see you in the chat. I will get to your questions in a minute. And throughout the whole thing, of course, as an homage back to the days of Happy Hour Live during the pandemic, I will be drinking a beer or something during my hour with you. Speaking of beers, let me go get today's beer, ladies and gentlemen, from the fridge. I forgot to take it out. Where is it? There it is. Today's podcast is not sponsored by anyone. Maybe one day it will be, but it's these lot called Bap Bap, which are Parisian brasserie. They know that I have stopped drinking alcohol almost a year ago. I've got fucking 4 days left until 1 year sober. Come on! I haven't touched any alcohol in 1 year minus 4 days. What's that, 360 days? How many days are in a year? I don't care. And these guys sent me some beers, being like, Paul, we want you to test and taste our non-alcoholic beer. It's from Paris. It's called Bap Bap. That is the brewery. I mean, those of you who don't speak English from the UK, a bap is a boob, is a breast, a woman's. You would say she's got nice baps. Oh Jesus, I haven't heard that in such a long time. I don't think anyone says that anymore. Or it's what you eat. It's like a bun. My mum would say a bap, like a bacon bap, like a roll of bread. I don't even know how you would say that in French. A bap. Anyway, their non-alcoholic beer is called Bang Bang, and thank you, Bap Bap. For the non-alcoholic beers that don't taste like shit, because most of them do. So cheers everyone. Cheers Bap Bap for the non-alcoholic beer made in Paris. If you want to sponsor the podcast Bap Bap, then let me know. I want all of your beers all of the time. Cheers. There we go. Come on. Right, what else did I want to talk about before I get to your questions? I tell you what. Tantrum. I think I should just go in with the I think every episode of this is going to start with me just being annoyed at something. Today's annoyance are French banks. Fucking French banks. I've talked about them before. I don't think I will ever stop talking about them. Let me tell you the situation, right? This house and the studio that we've just moved into was worked on for over a year and a half. There was a year and a half of works. So now we have to pay the people that built the shit, right? And so I was like, all right, cool. To the electrician and the builder that made, because this was a shed at the end of my garden. So they redid the floor, they redid the walls, they redid the windows, they redid the actual front door, they did the shutters that come down. They redid the whole thing. I built it and did all of the decoration. But they obviously built it with the electrician and everything. So we had to pay them, right? A large amount of money for everything that they've done. And so I was like, great, give me the bank details and I'll send you the payment. So I put in the bank details into my bank and was like, please send over this amount of money, a lot of money. And the bank was like,
Eh ben non, monsieur, because it is not a beneficiary that we are used to seeing, so you need to add a new trusted beneficiary to the list.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, okay. I mean, I don't know if this is the case in other countries with other banks, but here you have to add a beneficiary, and it takes 3 days to add a new beneficiary to your fucking account. So I'm like, okay, I'll add the beneficiary with his bank details. I don't know, they have to check that it's legal. I don't know, I don't care what they have to do. So I send the things, and then the system was like, non, monsieur, we cannot validate it. You have to validate with your digital pass. Because you have these digital passes in France. Again, I don't know if it's only France, but because I'm fucking here, this is what's annoying me. It's like a thing that you have to validate on the app on your phone. The problem is, my wife deals with all the admin of my company. So she's got the app on her phone. So I was like, wife, oi! Because she is in the house that's over there. She works from the house, I work from the end of the garden. I'm like, oi! Can you validate the transaction, please, with the digital pass? So she opens her phone and there's no request. She's like, there's no request. I'm like, all right, well, let me send a request again. Send a request again. Still fucking nothing. And then I look into the screen. I'm like, oh, it says it's going to send it, the pass to Adeline's iPhone 13 mini. But do you know what happened to Adeline's iPhone 13 mini this summer? She fucking dropped it in the street without knowing that she dropped it. The screen smashed. We walked into the park. Somebody picked it up and fucked off with it. So for the rest of the evening, I was searching on Find My Friends on the thing to track the phone down to another city on my bike, hoping not to get stabbed when I showed up where the phone was. Luckily, the woman was very nice. She was like, oh, I found this on the floor. Give it back to your wife. And the screen was cracked. Everything was fucked. So we got her another phone, iPhone 12 mini. We weren't going to go up. She just broke the 13. We're not going to go up. We've got to go down. She doesn't deserve a new phone. So we got the new phone. So it's not the one that's registered to the digital key. So I'm like, fucking add the phone. So she's trying to add her new phone to the digital key. And the app's like, but not, because you can only have one device at a time registered as a digital key.
You need to deregister one device to get the other device on the thing.
I don't know why the app is speaking in a French accent, but I imagine it speaking in a French accent. So Addy's like, oh, I will try and add it, but you can't, because you can't deregister the old phone because it's fucking broken. So what do? He can't add the new phone because he can't take the old phone away. So it's like, oh great, we've got to call the bank. So we try to call the bank, but guess what day it is today? It's fucking Monday. And unlike everywhere else in the world, France, banks close down on a Monday. I don't get it. I don't understand. Oh, we were going to kill somebody. But guess what? The electrician isn't going to get paid. That's it. They see, fuck it. It's not, he's oh, Jesus. So I'm going to have to call them tomorrow now. I will call them tomorrow. The problem is, tomorrow, I'm not in the country because I'm going on tour to fucking Manchester. And it's going to cost me 27,000 euros a minute to call back to France because of fucking Brexit! Whoo! Somebody in a French bank, please tell me why this is so complicated. All right. Tantrum over, ladies and gentlemen. I am sweating like an absolute pig now. Whoo! Right. Speaking of Manchester and upcoming shows, let me tell you about what's going on in terms of shows, and I'll get to your questions. We'll get to your questions and comments in a second. So if you're wondering if I'm coming to a city near you, you just have to go to the website paultaylorcomedy.com/tickets, ladies and gentlemen, and you can find the entire. It's the links in the description of the video. Let me see if this works. If I bring my phone up, there it is. So we've got a couple of shows in Paris. The main one is Le Zénith. The Paul Taylor and Friends is sold out in September. But Zénith, that's the only show I'm doing in Paris. Le Zénith, 5,000 people, of which we've sold 500 tickets. So we kind of, Paris, where the fuck are you? It's in January, I understand. But the next show's coming up. Manchester is tomorrow, Liverpool the next day, Brighton, Cambridge, London. And then the week after, it's Edinburgh, Glasgow, Cork and Dublin. And then we move into the end of September, Amsterdam, Vienna, Budapest, Berlin, Faro and Lisbon. And in October, we'll talk about on another day. I cannot wait. I'm going on tour tomorrow morning. I leave this place tomorrow on a flight. One of the advantages of moving house out east of Paris now is, I don't know if that's east for you. Is that east? No, that's west. East is that way for you. Is that I'm closer to the airport. So I'm going to Manchester tomorrow. Cannot wait. Liverpool. We're at fucking Liverpool, mate. Fucking Liverpool. The French people in Liverpool don't exist apparently, or in Brighton because no one's coming to those shows. But Manchester's almost sold out. London's almost sold out. Cambridge is sold out. What else have we got? Edinburgh's almost sold out. Edinburgh is sold out. Glasgow is on its way. Cork in Ireland and Dublin in Ireland are doing all right. So, all right. Whew. Those are the upcoming shows of the tour. Time to get to your questions. It's been 20 minutes, and I'd love to see what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. What are your questions? What's going on with you? Samira Ikmir says, are you going on tour to Morocco one day? Potentially. Not with this show, but I'd love to go on tour to Morocco at some point. I did Le Marrakech du Rire in 2017, and it didn't go very well. Oh, it was horrific. If we're going to fuck the wall and be honest about everything, it's probably one of the worst experiences I've ever had, Samira. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't the audience's fault. It's my fault because I wasn't a good I'm still not a good comedian. But I'll never be a good comedian. You're always looking for the next thing. But yeah, the show in Marrakech du Rire was, which is a French festival in Marrakech, which I don't understand. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It wasn't great. Thanks for the question. Somebody said, no Birmingham, Brumplum. I know, we couldn't find a date or a time that matched the tour itinerary, unfortunately for fucking Birmingham. But I will be doing a lot more shows in the UK next year when I start doing shows only in English. Alex Vallée has got his Montreal tickets. Montreal and the rest of Canada, apart from Vancouver. Fucking Vancouver! Is happening in November, not Noviembre. One Batin. What is the name of your bank? For a friend. All of them. They're all shit. We've tried to move money because obviously moving house. This whole studio was paid for by the company because it's for work, right? But the renovation was paid for by us. And we've got a bunch of different banks. I had my first bank when I moved here. My wife had her bank. We've got a joint account. All of them are fucking shit. They all have the same problem and it drives me nuts. Crédit Agricole, Société Générale, what's the other one that we have? BNP, they're all a bunch of wankers. I don't know if it's the same everywhere else. I don't remember it being this difficult in the UK. I mean, I haven't been there for 15 years, but when I lived in Australia, it was easy. When I lived in Canada, it was easy. Oh, I don't care. Christopher, Battery. Rugby World Cup starts next week. Is it next week? I don't know when it is. England. Obviously, I'm supporting England. Never supporting France. Fuck France. England, but they're not gonna get anywhere, from what I understand. Michel Reeby. Oh, what was your favourite thing to do in Mauritius? Will you come back here one day? Oh, I'm glad you fucking asked! Since we're talking about the behind the scenes of the tour, ladies and gentlemen, I have to say, Mauritius was the absolute worst trip that I've been on this year. New York was a close second. Mauritius, the people were unbelievable. The country is beautiful. The beaches are beautiful. Not the bitches, the beaches. Not the beach. The beach. The beach is very beautiful. The beach on the beach is even more beautiful. The problem was oh God, Mauritius. Oh my Jesus. Oh, I don't even know where to start. This is another. Am I doing a second tantrum in one video? So I did a show in Mauritius 2 weeks ago. Not even 2 weeks ago. When did I get back? I got back 5 days ago from Mauritius. I did a show, and I was like, well, I'm moving house in August. I don't want to do a show because my wife is going to be really angry at me because last time we moved house, I did some shows and we had a baby and she was fucking livid. We almost got divorced because of it. So this time I was like, hey, AJ is the promoter in Mauritius. Hello, AJ, if you're watching this. And he is a legend. He's a really nice guy. His whole team at ticketbox.mu are amazing. So I was like, well, I'm only going to come if I can bring my wife and child with me and we can have like a mini holiday. We'll pay the extra nights of hotel. He was going to pay for 4 nights and we were going to pay for 5 extra nights. So it was going to be like a 10-day trip. And it was the only holidays that me and my wife had and our daughter this entire year. So it's like Mauritius. Typed into Google, when is a good time to go to Mauritius? Between June and October. Perfect. Fucking August is perfect. We arrive and there's so many problems. Everyone's amazing. People are so nice, but just the hotel, everything was wrong. The hot water wasn't working. There wasn't an extra room for Louise to sleep in, so she was waking us up all night. It rained the entire time. If you haven't seen my social media, I made a video promoting the tour in the UK when it was pissing with rain, which was basically all day, every day. Because it was raining and it was cold and it was windy, my wife didn't bring any other clothes, as I didn't. We brought summer clothes because it's fucking August! Even though it's the winter in Mauritius, I do understand that, but it's still supposed to be fucking hot. So she got sick because she's French, and all French people get sick as soon as it's cold and they don't have a fucking scarf on. But it's not their fault. I understand why. They're allergic to air conditioning, and I get it. It's because France is not a country that is hot enough to merit air conditioning like Spain or Portugal, where they all have air conditioning, right? It's not hot enough. But it's not cold enough that people are used to the cold, like in England, where we can walk around in the cold like this and we don't get sick. So everyone in France, as soon as they get a bit of air conditioning, go... And so that's what happened to my wife. She fell sick. Also, she had a period, so that didn't help because she has them, quite badly. And so that ruined her trip. What ruined my trip is while I was holding my daughter on top of some public toilets so she could pee in the toilets, I fucked my back up. So I was incapacitated. I was in bed for a whole day, basically, the day before my show. So that ruined my trip. The only person that had a good time on the trip was my daughter. So to answer your question, Michal, what was your favourite thing to do in Mauritius? Was sleep in the fucking bed! Because I didn't even go in the water. I didn't even get in the sea. Because it was so windy and cold, and the beach next to the hotel or at the hotel was like a fake beach. It was like a resort that wasn't on a real. It was like a fake resort basically, it was horrific. So the trip was terrible. The people are amazing. The country is amazing. I loved the show. The show went really well. 1,000 people showed up. It was the biggest show that I've done this whole tour, more than Paris. Melbourne is show number 2 with 900 people, and show number 3 is this one up here, La Cigale, that we did at the beginning of the year, which was 850, 900. Whew! All right, thanks for the question. That was a long answer to just a normal question, to be honest. I'm sorry. You got me riled up here. Look how hot I am. It is and there's no air in here either. Like, this place is so small. I don't want to open the windows because all the fucking bugs are going to come in because we live. I'm at the end of the garden. Maybe I should open, and I don't want to open the windows either because the neighbours are going to hear me shouting like a mentalist. Antoinette says, why do you only have one show in Zurich? Do you think you'll have more shows in Zurich just because it's holidays in Zurich and we won't be there? Oh, what a fucking surprise. Somebody booked me to perform in a country where it's a fucking bank holiday. Well done. No, I'm only doing one show in Zurich because the venue is 1,000 people, and I think we only have like 200 people at the moment coming to that show. Tanya Borrego, in which city were the most foreigners at your show? I don't know why I'm putting on a Spanish accent, other than French and English. Mauritius was the city where the most foreigners was at my show. Also, Singapore. Or was it Bangkok? I think it was Singapore, because in Singapore there was a lot of Singaporeans. No, there wasn't that many Singaporeans. Is that how you say people from Singapore in English? Singaporean? Singapore. I'm going to say Mauritius was the show where I had the most foreigners. Everywhere else is pretty solidly French, with about 10% non-French. Brits can't handle heat waves and spices? Are you having a fucking laugh? Spices? I hope you're not French. I mean, by the looks of your name, you're not French. Yeah, all right. Heat waves, I agree with. Heat waves, yeah. It's not even that hot. It's 25 degrees and I'm sweating. Spices. Spices? Is that the plural of spice? One spice, two spices. We are way better than French people at spice because we've obviously got a lot of Indian food influence. And as soon as... Basically, French people are allergic to air conditioning and spice. Those are the two things. Right. I am way too hot now, but that's it. I don't have a fan. Do you know what I mean? Michelle, you're back. Oh man, you missed the heat by a week. It was super hot last week and no rain. Talk about timing. All my trips so far have been a fail. New York. Concrete jungle where it's 28 million degrees in the summer. Jesus Christ! We went there for 4 days for my show. I did 2 shows in 2 days, and I was like this the entire time, trying to walk around doing the touristy shit. And it was horrific. The weather was horrific, and we forgot that we had to do in order to do anything in New York that's good, you have to reserve in advance. So we ended up going to shit restaurants, shit bars, shit cocktail bars, shit everything. Shit, you couldn't even get to comedy clubs, they were booked. It was a nightmare. The show, again, went really well in New York. Well, one of them did. One of them was kind of like, it was kind of like a Sunday afternoon crowd. And I was like, really? It's Friday evening. How are you not better than... Anyway, so but it wasn't their fault. It was just a I think it was just that it rained as well. Just humid rain. If I'm not happy with the weather, here's the ironic thing. I'm going to Manchester tomorrow. It's fucking better weather there than it is in Mauritius. And Liverpool and Cambridge and Brighton and London are going to be better weather than Mauritius. That's how shit my timing is for this tour. I'm very happy that I'm on the tour because it's amazing to be able to go out and speak to French people all across the world. But fuck me. What else is going on? Life on low batteries. I went to NYC a few years ago and it was miserably hot. Yeah, exactly. Looking forward to Cambridge on Friday. Nicolas Robert, an old Apple colleague of mine. Shout out to the ex-Apple employees. Yeah, I am looking forward to Cambridge because I don't know what to expect apart from a sold-out show. So I don't know how many French people are actually going to be there. I'm excited and nervous about the tour in the UK, to be honest, because I'm like going back home for the first time. Well, it's not the first time. I've been to London to do shows before, but the rest of the country I haven't. And I'm kind of like, what's the, I don't know what the analogy is, but I'm kind of, I don't know. It's just like, I want to do well. I want the show to go well because the comedy clubs that we're performing in next year, I'm going to go back and perform only in English, starting from the beginning, basically. And so, you know, I want them to have a good, I want them to see the show and be like, okay, this guy isn't totally shit. And so when I come back next year and I go, hey, can I come and do 10 minutes on your shows? That they go, yeah, absolutely. And also, it's kind of the first time. Well, not this time, but it's more for next year that I'm nervous. But I'm also nervous just because I'm home, and Cambridge is okay because it's sold out, so everyone in theory knows what they've come to see. Liverpool, where it's like no one's coming to the show. I'm worried that there's going to be some people from Liverpool, fucking Scousers, walking in last minute, because that's what you do at comedy clubs. You know, if it's a Tuesday night, you go, should we go out to the comedy club and see what's going on? You see a poster with Paul Taylor, you go, yeah, that should be fun. Also, there's a comedian in England called Paul Taylor as well. So they might be confused. So I'm worried that they come to the show and don't speak French. But apart from that, I'm really looking forward to it. Owen, have I been happy about anything lately? What have I been happy about? Not a lot, really. I'm happy about this studio and how it eventually turned out. It's not finished yet because I need to put up the soundproof panels and some of the other things. I mean, it's a shithole off camera. You can't see the stuff that's going on off camera, really. Oh, what's that? Oh no, that's my bottle of beer. But what you see on camera, I'm very happy with, and I've put a lot of effort and a lot of money into it. So thank you for making. Thank you for being here. How many are? 266 of us. Come on, we love it. What else? What else was going on? What else did I have on my list of stuff to talk about? Blah blah blah. Oh, you know what I wanted to talk about? Because I want this to be a recurring segment in this podcast is bad translations, and I figured this out because I also wanted to do a segment which is like. Which I used to do for Happy Hour Live back in the day, where I would show you a photo from the day of, but a previous year. So September 4th, I'm just typing this into my phone for those of you listening. And I've got 98 photos from the 4th of September in previous years. And one that I found the other day, which I'd forgotten about, was this photo here. Let me share this on the screen. Those of you just listening to the podcast, first of all, shout out to you because you're absolute legends for just listening to this and avoiding my sweaty face. But the photo that I brought up is a photo of a restaurant in a suburb of France, or of Paris, called Suresnes, when we used to live near there. And there's something wrong with the photo, and I'm just wondering whether the people in the chat are gonna notice or not what the problem is. It's one of these terrible translations where French people think it's a good idea to name their establishment after an English name or something like that, right? But this one, they just, what is it? Is it? It's got like an Indian restaurant type of vibe, like a bar. In terms of the font that's on it, but the the place is called 181th with a TH. 181, as if it was supposed to be like the 7th, like the 4th of September is today, which is 4 and then TH. These dickheads didn't do their research and have put the 181th. I don't know if this place still exists. Somebody look it up on Google Maps and see if it still exists and see what it's... Actually, I'll just do it now. 181th. What a bunch of legends. Let's just see if it still exists in Suresnes. 181th. Suresnes. I wonder if they... Suresnes. Yeah, I did mean that. Yeah, go. 180... I don't think it exists. I don't think it exists. Because they shut down because of COVID and also because the English language police showed up and were like, hey, 181... Oh, fuck me. And this is why I have a career, ladies and gentlemen, is because the French are shit at English. There's no way that anyone... I don't know... 181th. You know what I can maybe do? Let me come out of this. Maybe I can see on a map when I originally took it. Oh, it's on the map there. Oh, I've got it. Hold on. Show nearby photos. No, I want to do... what address is that? It's probably 181. Okay, so it's near Garage 83 in Suresnes. So Garage 83. Do you reckon their garage is called 83rd? Oh. All these places have closed, mate. Fucking pandemic. Anyway, so this is 181st. So Terrible Translations is a segment that I would love to get you involved in, the audience of this show. Not necessarily live, because I think it would be too complicated right now to get it set up and do the whole thing. But what I would love you to do is send me either photos, videos, or just like a written explanation of a terrible translation that you've come across. Photos and videos would probably be better, but if you've got a fun story, then share it with me on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, fucking X, in the comments on YouTube, wherever you want, and I will read them out in the next episode. I think it would be a fun segment to do. Taylor's Terrible Translations. Translations, FTW, for the win, but fuck the wall. You fucking love it! Because there's so many that come up in restaurants, in just buildings. I love them. I did a whole video about a terrible translation of a Spanish keyboard, which I don't have with me anymore, but go and check out on the YouTube. Just type in the worst translation Paul Taylor. I think it's one of those videos. Dearie me. That'll be another little segment of the show. Terrible translations. And also like take me back, TBT, take me back, Taylor, take me back to the, I'll find a fun story every week to talk about, based upon the day that I'm recording and something that's happened in the past. People are saying hello, Adam Crosby. Adam's in the house. Adam Crosby, fuck the wall. That's probably too loud. It's too loud now. Oh, I don't know. Adam, thanks for fucking my wall just over here. It's not yet fixed. You can't see it because the microphone's in the way, and you can't even see it anyway because the camera is blurry. So it'll stay that way, or maybe not. If I step back and the focus is over here, can you see the shit wall? And yes, I am wearing chaussette claquette. Go fuck yourselves. I am sweating. My chair is wet from my arse. It's unbelievable. Benoit Budiman, is it hot at Paul's? Yes, it is. It's 25 degrees and my window is shut because I can see bugs on the window here trying to get into me. And I'm not dealing with it. I've bought this is how bad it's got. I've tried to buy like these things to catch the bugs in the, it's a nightmare. Because I'm at the end of my garden. I can't see my house anymore because no one, has everyone gone to sleep? What is it? It's 9:45. She's maybe shut the shutters. Las chanclas. Life on no batteries, exactly. Las chanclas. John McGovern, what a legend. Another ex-Apple legend friend of mine. John McGovern, you fucking slag. I was going to say, tell people that I'm coming but you're from Leicester, and I'm not going to Leicester. I'm not going to Vancouver either, mate. Fucking hell, Vancouver. I'm not too sure about the mic. The mic is on, ladies and gentlemen. But apparently you can't hear it. But I think it's just because it's got an echo. Because I haven't yet put in... what are we talking about? Right, let's go. Adam Crosby, my manager, says I'm also launching a podcast and it'll be better than this dickhead. All right, good, Adam. I'm looking forward to your podcast called... What's it going to be called? Fuck the Kilt? Oh, God. This is fun, ladies and gentlemen. I'm enjoying this very much. Except for the heat. I am sweating. Oh, my God. But, you know, it's what it is. It's just what it is. I'm hot, I'm bothered. Right, what else is going on? People are asking, quand est-ce que tu viens à Strasbourg? You got to check the website, my friend. I think it's November, December. All the rest of the French dates are coming from October. I start the French tour in October, November, December. I'm talking about England here, talking about Scotland, Ireland, Amsterdam, Vienna, all that kind of stuff. Jessica Bartini wants to say, I would love to speak in English with you. Well, there you go, Jessica. You are speaking in English. I love your little profile photo with your little baby there. Loving it. There we go. We want to know everything, Adam. He's not starting a podcast. Don't worry, Linda. Don't worry. He's not starting a podcast. He's just trolling me. Carlos Camejo says, I had a translation thought. Would fuck the wall in French be putain de mur, ou le mur me fait chier, or baise le mur? Because it's not the wall doing something to you, which in your translation, putain de mur. No, because we want to say fuck the wall, like forget the wall, get rid of the barriers between me and you, right? Let's just communicate. Fuck the wall. There's no wall, right? Donc baise le, nique le mur, NLM. Does that stand for anything in French? Nah, mate. Bridget Leonard's on. I love hot weather. I was reminded. I can't read fucking English. Of what it was like to be cold when I got out of the ocean last week, and hot is much better. No, it's not. Look at the state of me. At least if I was cold, I could put on more layers. But at some point, I'm not going to get naked in front of you. That's not what this podcast is about. That's what my other podcast is about on OnlyFans. Hey, speaking of OnlyFans, I don't have one, but what I do have is a Patreon account, which is like OnlyFans, but without the sex. And also, what I didn't mention at the beginning of the show is that it's 1 hour. It's going to be 1 hour live for the people watching on YouTube for free. And then I'm going to do a second Fuck the Wall after hours with the crew that follow me on Patreon. These guys are absolute legends. They've been supporting me for well over 2-3 years, helping to pay for stuff like the studio and supporting me as an artist. And in return, there's exclusive content. So every week now, there's going to be another episode, an extra episode of Fuck the Wall just after this one on patreon.com/Paul Taylor. Again, if you don't know what Patreon is, it's basically a website. It's kind of like a social media, but you pay for it and we give you exclusive content. On mine specifically, you can support me by buying me half a pint, 1 pint, 3 pints, 10 pints a month. And you get access to all of the exclusive content that I post on there. So far, there's probably, close to 100 hours of exclusive content on Patreon. Whether it's the after party of my show, So British ou Presque, which was on YouTube for free, but I did like a behind the scenes after party live for the Patreon where I answered some questions, showed you some of the behind the scenes Easter egg stuff. Whether it was the old happy hour interviews where we did an extra hour. I did a 5-hour mega vlog where I filmed all of the leading up to the filming of the special So British ou Presque in London. And it was the whole day from when I arrived at the theatre until I got on stage, 5 hours of what it was like to just loads of exclusive content. And they're the best people in the world. Also, right now, I think, because I set up the front row of Le Zénith in Paris on the 6th of January, just for the members of Patreon. The front row was locked out for the members of Patreon, and the tickets were cheaper than the second row. The second row, I think, is like 58 euros. The front row was 38 euros. And there are still 5 of those available. So if you sign up to Patreon now, you actually will earn money if you were thinking of coming to the show in January. Also, we get to hang out for an extra hour afterwards, and it gets even more intimate. The walls are even fucking... It's fucking the wall deeper. And this is getting ridiculous now. Where it gets even more intimate, because right now, what are we? 236 people? There's probably going to be about 10 people on the Patreon, because that's how many people usually show up. Today might be an exception, so come and join me there for the next hour afterwards. But let's keep going. Oh, Viviane, speaking of Patreon, est-ce que vous pouvez mettre en place l'option qui permet de payer pour l'année sur Patreon? Yeah, so there's an option on Patreon where you can do the whole year. The reason I took it down was because I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to do a year's worth of content back then. And so I set it up, and then after like a year, I kind of took it down again because I was like, I know that I'm stopping Happy Hour and I'm going to have less content on Patreon. But if you like, I will activate it right now as we speak, if you want, because then I think you get a month for free if we set it up. How do I do that? Let's go into settings right now. Let's go to fucking account management, unpublished page.
No, thank you.
Insights, audience, nah, my page, I don't know how to do it. Change plan, no, that's not what I want to do. Brrr, brrr, brrr. La da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da 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 da. Hey, by the way, it was la rentrée today, which means that people go back to school in France. See, adults in English-speaking countries don't have the word la rentrée. We don't use it because we're not fucking 7 years old and we're not going back to school unless you're a teacher, right? But in France, even adults go, oh, c'est la rentrée, je retourne au boulot après 3 mois de vacances. And anyway, it was la rentrée for the children. My daughter started her new school today because we changed cities. And I hope all your children that joined school cried their fucking eyes out. I hope they all went to school and was like, Mama, Papa, because that's what ours was like. Obviously, 5 minutes later, apparently, she was totally fine, and she came back. She's got a new friend. Everything is good. But you know, it was very sad, but very funny at the same time. Just because all the kids, just everyone in the class was just like, So I hope if you've got kids, the same thing happened to you. That way, we're in the same, we're in the same situation. I can't find where it's at. And I don't want to waste any more of your time trying to figure out how to set up the Patreon thing. I'll figure it out. My page. There it is, mate. It's got to be in there. Surely, mate. Surely. Do you know what I mean? Memberships. There we go. And we go to. We don't add a tier, do we? Do we? Collections? I'll do it. I promise I'll do it. I'm gonna check one more thing, and then if
it does not work, hombre, lo que pasa es que it does not work, ¿sabes? Porque no funciona.
Annual memberships. Accept annual memberships. It's even recommended. Set the discount that you want to offer. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I will let you set the discount. The maximum is 16%. 16% is the maximum discount for a Patreon annual membership that I can offer. So you tell me. It's currently set to 10. I'm thinking maybe I give you a 1% discount because I'm a stingy bastard. Stingy is oh, what the hell was that? Dude, it's really weird being in a shed at the end of the garden when it's black outside. I saw something moving in the. It might have been my hand in the reflection of the mirror of the window. How many should we do, ladies and gentlemen? 50%. I'd love to do 50%, but I can't do 50%. All right, it's currently at 10. I'm setting it now to 16% because you guys are legends. Let's do save changes. Your currency, euros. Bang, save the changes. So that way you get the 16% off. How much is 16%? I don't know. It doesn't work. Anyway, there you go. If you want to join the Patreon today, do you know what I'll do? I'll leave it at 16% for 1 month. There you go, for 4 episodes. That way, get your friends involved, do the whole thing, and then I'll go back to 10%. Because I'm a stingy, stingy. French people, what is un radin? Un radin is the French word for stingy. Un radin, espèce de gros radin, va. I've got to pay for this studio, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know what I mean? Robbins, Victor, at the ends of your shows, will you stay with the audience to take pictures and drink a beer? Robin, it depends on the show, if I'm honest. Which one are you coming to? Because I'll come and say hi to you and maybe drink a beer with you. It depends, honestly. It depends on the size of the venue. Like in London, which is happening on Saturday. Fuck, it's already Monday, and I'm doing a London on Saturday. It's 1,000 people in the room, so I won't be hanging around. I will hang around for the legends that follow. Fuck the wall. I will hang around for the. If you know, you know. So basically, when the show's finished, I go and hide in the dressing room while my manager Adam is dry fucking the wall, saying that was an amazing show. And we have a quick chat about how it went, and then like 10 minutes later, I'll come out once everyone's left. Because if I stood around and waited for 1,000 people to leave the venue, I'd be there until next week. So it depends. If I'm doing a small venue like the other UK shows, which are like 200 then I usually sort of come out quicker because there's less people, and having a drink afterwards, if you've got a cool place to go. Wow, I am so sorry about that. It just came out. Especially for those just listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or the rest. Saint-Grégoire in Rennes. I tried this last time. There's nothing to do in Saint-Grégoire. It's a suburb of Rennes, which is a suburb of Paris. Oh, he said it! He fucking said it! No, Rennes is a lovely place. So last time, we actually went out to an Irish pub in Rennes with my sound and light guys. And the Irish pub is on the main square. There's like a square in Rennes. I don't know what it's called, but you'll find us there at the Irish pub because I've been there twice. And it was amazing. Are you ever in Germany, Yoshli fan? Yeah, I'm doing Berlin next month. This month? Adam, when are we doing Germany? I think we're doing Berlin on the 23rd of this month. There we go. And the Germans will laugh at the French jokes. What else is going on? What else is going on? I think your neighbours can hear you. And do you know what's funny about my neighbours? Is in this direction we have a car wash full of chavs. Chav, French people, is the word for racaille. So there's like a bunch of chavs that have opened up a car wash. We've got a garden basically, and on that side is a car wash, which makes noise every fucking day, and they're listening to their shit music and speaking really loudly like little cunts. And on this side, a really nice couple who I'm trying to think at what point. Well, I met them a couple of weeks ago when we actually moved in, and their son is back from London. His name is Tom, I think, and he's back. So that's his parents. He's, I think, my age, maybe younger. I don't know. His girlfriend is from Amsterdam, but they both lived in London together, and super nice. And he knew who I was, so it was kind of funny having a neighbour who knows who I am. I'm like, fuck. Here we go. Tom, if you're watching this, do not tell anyone where I live. I don't want to be doxxed already. But he's super nice. And there's a little fence just outside my studio here, which is lower than the rest of the garden. So I saw him on the phone. He was on the phone in English. Tom, your English is amazing. I don't even know if your name is Tom. I think it is. I've completely forgotten. I'm going with Tom, though. Your English is amazing. He might be able to hear me. Yeah. Oh, Shy Rocks on a super chat. Fucking Shy Rocks. Amazing. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Hold on. Let me give you a little I don't have the sound effects button anymore. Thanks so much. You could have signed up to Patreon and gotten a bunch of exclusive content though. Do you know what I mean? But thank you, I appreciate it, I really do. It's amazing. What is time? All right, it's all right. We've got about 5 minutes left, ladies and gentlemen. Did I watch Barbenheimer? No, I was moving house, unfortunately. I got back from New York, the tour in New York, on the 20-somethingth of June. And the film came out, I think, on the 21st of June here. And then we went straight into moving mode. July, 21st of July. And July, Julio, Juillet. And we got back and we were moving 2 weeks later, so I didn't have time to go and see it. And then we moved house and it was chaos moving house. Oh, we're still not moved in properly. There's shit everywhere in the house. And we probably won't be moved in properly until the end of the year because I'm leaving. So I didn't watch Barbenheimer. Was it good? Depressed Horn. Lamau. Oh, I know how to get it. Hold on. I think I can get it. Wait for it. Options. Wait, I think I can do this if I get this sound. Turn your ears off, ladies and gentlemen. I wasn't too far away. Oh, God. Have you ever been to Belgium, Mr. Boo? I have, Mr. Boo. I love the cat photo. By the way, my wife is loving the cats in the garden because the cats from the neighbours are coming in, fucking sneaking around like little ninjas to see what's going on. Because the house has been empty for a year and a half. Because we've had the keys for a year and a half, but we haven't moved in. So I think they got used to having, a bit of space to themselves. And then they're like, oh, who's this English prick now who showed up with his fucking 4-year-old who wants to take my tail off? I have been to Belgium many times. I was in Belgium recently with my dad and my brother for a little lads trip. Fucking lads. Shout out to Kyle if you're watching and Dad if you're watching, which neither of you are. Yeah, we went to Brussels. Bruxelles. I've also been to, where have I been to in Brussels? Bruges, with my wife. Wow, 2009, 8? I think it was like our second anniversary together. We went to Brugge. Amazing place, just because I love the film In Bruges. Fucking Bruges! And I'm going to Liège and Brussels for the show in December. So come to see the show. Life on Low Batteries, Barbie and Oppenheimer were both fantastic pieces of art. Contrary, we're starting a fight now. Mr. Boo says Barbie is a film, Oppenheimer is art. Mate, Christopher Nolan is my favourite director, so I was fucked off that I didn't get to see it. Because there was like one room in the entire country in France that was made for the 70mm IMAX, whatever it was. It was Le Grand Rex where I've done my show before. And I just didn't get to see it. Hopefully they'll put it back up sometime. Hopefully not in French! All right, ladies and gentlemen. What else is going on? Let's do a final... We should do like a final segment, like a final speed round. Let's do a speed round of questions. Speed. I'll let you answer some questions. Ask some questions, like quick questions, and I'll do like I'll put another timer on. Should I put another timer up for like 2 minutes? Speed round, and then we will end episode 1 of Fuck the War. And then I'll see all the Patreon legends afterwards for an extra hour of me sweating my bollocks off. Adam Crosby, are we doing Liège? Yeah, we are doing Liège. Well done, manager. What am I paying you to do? Are we doing Liège? Yeah, we are. On the 14th of December. Jesus Christ. Get with it, son. Get with it. Jesus Christ. When am I coming back to the US and I don't know. I don't have plans for the US, but Canada, I'm coming in November. No, that's a lie. I'm coming back to New York for a show. How did I forget this? On the 8th of October. Oof. Oh, no. I've got a stone underneath my chair that's scratching the shit out of my floor. 8th of October, New York. It's not only my show, it's a show called the Frenchy Comedy Club. I'm going to be doing, it's hosted by my mate, Sebastian Marks. Let me go to Frenchy Comedy. If you type in Frenchy Comedy Club into Instagram, hombre lo que pasa, and let's get this up on the screen. Frenchy Comedy Club, 8th of October. I'm coming over with Nino Ariel, Jimo, Mr. Sebastian Marks, and Serine Ayari, and we are going to crush it at the Sony Hall. It's going to be great. So, New York. So I'll probably be doing like 15 minutes. for that one. So that's the next time I'm going to New York, and that is the day. Like it's happening 2 days before the show in Geneva. So hopefully the flight doesn't get cancelled. Nicolas Chemol, only 3 seats left for Patreons in Paris. Oh, it's going down! London, where is Rolly? That is a good question. Where is Rolly, the cheeky bastard? I said you can come and join if you want. Rolly, for those of you who are new to my life, is my French Québécois friend, who's also a comedian and often opens for me everywhere I go. Will he be opening for me in the UK? No, he won't, because he's not coming. But will he be opening for me at Le Zénith? He absolutely will. Plans for new episodes with Sarah Donnelly. No, this Fuck the Wall podcast is me on my own. I might have guests now and again, but it will be more me, and because I'm going to save guests for another episode, another podcast that I'm thinking of doing around language, specifically around language learning and what it's like to learn another language, challenges around learning a language, benefits, disadvantages, just things like that, all around languages with friends of mine and other people and what it's like. So I might do that next year, but for now it's me on my own, unless someone's over at the house. Like if my mum is staying with me or Rolly's staying with me, then I'll get another microphone and we'll hook it up. Do you know what I mean? That was supposed to be a quick fire questions situation. That was shit. Let's go. Ever want to do live shows in India? I would love to do shows in India, but no one wants me yet. No one has asked me to go there. So, tu pourrais faire des épisodes en français. Roster, I might do maybe a French episode every now and again. I want this mainly to be in English because as I'm developing my comedy shit in England next year, and also I want French people to get better at learning English, because otherwise we have stuff like 181th, and by doing that I want to do this. It's almost like an English companionship lesson situation. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, all right. Kristen Kim, whatever happened to No Bullshit English? That is a great question, Kristen. The answer to that is that the pilot episode was very well received, but Canal Plus have no money to make any more. So I'm just going to make them on my own in the studio here in a slightly different format, and that will be content that I will post on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. It will be short videos about a minute long, and I'm going to start working on those very soon. So you can expect to see No Bullshit English. It might not be called No Bullshit, it just might not be called anything, but videos about English words in French. There you go. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this episode 1 of No Bullshit, Fuck the Wall. No Bullshit English, it's in the head. Fuck the Wall, ladies and gentlemen. FTW, my new podcast every Monday at 9 p.m. live here on YouTube, or you can listen to it afterwards on the podcast apps. You can watch it again on YouTube as well. It'll still be up on YouTube afterwards, where I talk about the things behind the scenes of my comedy life. You get to ask questions, I get angry and sweaty, and we have a good laugh together. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. And Patreon, the people that follow me on patreon.com/Paul Taylor get an extra hour of this. And also, if you follow me on Patreon, they have a link with Spotify now where you can, if you're just listening to this and you subscribe to Patreon, you'll be able to get a secret Spotify code that will let you listen to it on Spotify afterwards as well. So there you go. Patreon.com/Paul Taylor. For those of you who are not following me on Patreon, come and see the live show. This week I will be in Manchester, tomorrow Liverpool the next day, Brighton the day after that, Cambridge after that, and we finish in London on Saturday before I come home on Sunday. And I'll see you guys next Monday for another Fuck the Wall episode, Monday, 9 p.m. French time. And that is it! Patreon, see you in 5 minutes. Bisous, bye!